Number 10, identify the vertex of the parabola, and we've been given f of x equals 2x squared plus 20x plus 48. And because we've been given the equation in standard form, I think what we'll do is we will make this a two-part video, so to speak. This first video here, I'll go ahead and we'll find the vertex using the method of completing the square, and then if you want to see an alternative method, you can watch the next video in the playlist, which will be finding the vertex using the information from the standard form here. All right, but let's go ahead and find the vertex by completing the square. All right, so what we're going to do is I'm going to start and rewrite our given equation here. So 2x squared plus 20x plus 48. And what we're doing is we're going to take standard form that we were given, and we're going to rewrite it into vertex form. And once it's in vertex form, we'll be able to quickly identify the h and k that make up our vertex. So to start, we're going to group the first two terms together. We're going to group these x terms together. And what we want to do is, because the coefficient of the x squared term is something other than 1, what we have to do is factor out this coefficient. In this case, it's a 2, so we have to factor out a 2 from these first two terms. All right, so if we pull out that 2, what we're left with is x squared plus 10x plus 48. And now that the coefficient of the x squared is 1, we can go ahead and complete the square. And if you watch some of the previous videos where we completed the square, you know that I like to go ahead and, before actually completing the square, go through and one last time write in these blank lines, which kind of remind me and help me to remember what's going on. All right, so we're going to be adding something to the inside, and we're going to be subtracting something from the outside. Remember, we don't want to change the value of this right hand side, so whatever we add to the inside, we have to compensate and subtract something from the outside so that the value of this function remains the same. All right, so to complete the square, we take half the middle term. So the middle term in this case is positive 10. Half of positive 10 is positive 5. And then we're going to square this positive 5, which gives us 25. So we're going to add 25 to the inside. And your first instinct might be to say, all right, well, if I'm adding 25 inside, I have to subtract 25 on the outside, but that's not necessarily what's happening here. Yes, we are adding 25 to the inside, but what happens if we were to distribute the 2 on the outside that we pulled out earlier? Well, 2 times 25 is 50, so we're really adding 50, right? So if we're adding 50 up front, we've got to subtract that 50 at the end. All right, now that we've completed the square, these three terms here in the parentheses are what are known as a perfect square trinomial. We can go ahead and rewrite these three terms as a perfect square binomial. So we'll have 2 and then open parentheses, x, and then what's half of positive 10? Well, that's positive 5 squared, and then 48 minus 50 is negative 2. And now what we've done is we've rewritten our given equation that was in standard form. Now it's in vertex form, and we can quickly identify our h comma k vertex. All right, so our vertex is h comma k, and recall that the h here is going to be the opposite of what we see. So we see an x plus 5, so our vertex is going to have a negative 5 for the x component, and then the y, the k, will be minus 2. And so there we have it, the vertex for number 10, negative 5, negative 2. If you don't like completing the square, then go ahead and take a look at the next video, the alternative method, and we will complete, or rather find the vertex using the information in the standard form. All right, but number 10, negative 5, negative 2 is our vertex.